Greetings, boys and girls, friends, strangers, family, whoever. The purpose of this video is to go a little bit more in depth, giving an exact account of what going to learn a skilled trade would be. In my case, it is specifically heating, ventilation, and air conditioning / refrigeration. While looking at YouTube for such information, I found a lot of abouts when you do searching online at the actual training facilities. It seems like they have a lot of estimates there too, so I just wanted to run through the actual breakdown for what it costs me, what that looks like. And I won't get super specific. I could, if there's an interest for that maybe, or if you want to ask questions, that's a possibility. But let's get into that now. First of all, I only went for a certificate, which was the fastest and cheapest thing that you could do. It requires 7 classes. I am in the state of Indiana. Yeah, I just touched my face, but don't worry, I'm clean. Thanks for your concern. So I also paid in-state tuition costs, which are obviously discounted as opposed to being out of state, and I am a veteran, so I got a further discount on my tuition. So I took 7 classes, 3 semester hours each, and the breakdown that I wanted to give you was the tuition cost, the book cost, and then there's fees, and then there's tool cost. So I have tuition, fees, books, tools, and then I can give you a total by semester. I went in the suggested order of the program, taking the classes exactly as they were laid out. Some people jumped around a little bit. I did not do that. And it may be important for you to know that I started in summer, and so I'm finishing now, which it's May 13th of 2020. If you're watching this later on, which, you know, hopefully somebody is. And let's get into the numbers, shall we? So if I'm not looking at you, please forgive me, but I gotta bring up the data here. Okay, so my first semester, which was summer, it was an 8-week session. I took basic electricity, which was the hard class, and intro to HVAC, which to me was the easy class. That's where we got the OSHA 10-hour certification. I paid $669 in tuition. I paid $261.90 somehow in fees, and I spent $120 in books. I did not buy those in the bookstore. The rest I did. I bought these on Amazon used, and I got quite a bit of a discount on the print reading one that was mandatory. I spent, and there was only 2 books that you needed. Tools, I spent $231, and for that, $215 of it was my Fieldpiece SC640 digital meter. And I spent, I think, $16 on a calculator, and that was the only tools I needed for the first semester. So if you add all of those together, I come up with $1,281.90 for the first semester. The second semester, which obviously began in August of 2019, was the worst one for me because I took 3 classes instead of only taking 2. So I spent $1,003.50 in tuition. I spent $341.85 in fees. I spent $334.49 in books. Most of that was because of the rack manual and the required online, I thought I had it laying around here somewhere, digital access through Cengage. I spent an additional $35 in tools. I think one was a soldering iron, which I actually already had. We needed Allen wrenches, You're still going to need your meter. It would be helpful to have that same calculator, but there was not a whole lot else that I remember needing aside from maybe a 1/4 inch or 5/16 nut driver of some variety, whether it's an impact driver, or handheld with magnets, or something like that. Damage on the second semester was $1,714.84, which then leads us to my final semester, where all I took was refrigeration 1 and refrigeration 2. Again, the tuition was the same. It was only 2 classes, $669. The fees, for some reason, were $322.90. I think because we had to take an EPA certification test, and then we had to take the air conditioning certification test. That's likely the case. You are charged a testing fee for those. It's built into the program. Books, I spent $61.47, which was an absolute joke. Again, it was just 2 little books that we needed from ESCO to study for their certification test, and I tried to rent them for $15 each, and then I got a bill for $60. So they charged me the same amount as I would have paid to buy the books, which I could have then turned around and sold for some money. They charged me to rent them. So I'm just out the money. So please don't fall for that. If they're going to charge you full price to rent a book, either buy the book or don't get the book. Because in our case, they ended up making the book available digitally anyway. So some people saved, $60. And then finally, my tools were an additional $110. I think it was probably more than that, and I'm going to explain if I can. I see I'm already at 7 minutes. You need to have a manifold gauge set specifically for heating and air conditioning, not automotive, but it's got to be R22, R410A, and probably 404A or whatever comes on it. So they recommended a yellow jacket one, and that's what I bought. That was the $110. You still need the meter. You still make use of a calculator. And there are some other tools. A service wrench would be handy. And you get a tool list when you start this, but my mistake was I thought you had to have everything purchased before you actually started the course. You do not. It's helpful for you to have them before it starts, and particularly the meter. It's a must-have. You're not getting around that. So whatever you got to do, pawn shops, or just make sure it's category 3 and you get a good one, because you don't want it to blow up. Anyway, at the end of the day, the figures that I've given you add up to $4,160.11. That's total tuition, total fees, total books. It's not a total of the tools. It's a total of the tools that we actually used. But I bought about $1,200, maybe a little bit more, $1,250, $1,200 to $1,300 worth of tools before I started the program. And you're okay if you do that. You're going to need them when you get into the field anyway. But it's not like, oh, well, we're going to kick you out of class because you don't have this. The ones they specifically mentioned to have, again, the meter, the calculator, gauge set, nut drivers, perhaps Allen wrenches. I think I mentioned that. You're going to need a tubing cutter would be handy. But again, because of the virus issue, we didn't have any labs for this last 8 weeks. So I didn't need any tools. I worked on my own system. So if you have any specific questions, again, this is in the state of Indiana, in the city of Indianapolis, through Ivytech Community College's HVAC/R program. That is what I dealt with. There's a number of changes. I may do another video on that later. Just for information. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to do any of that, okay? This is just for information purposes. So if you're interested in the trades, highly recommend it. The state is opening up. It's considered essential. It's a good one to get into. So highly encourage you to look into that.